Hi, welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green, bringing you brand new interviews right here on YouTube. My guest today, Dizzy Reed, happens to be in one of the biggest bands of all time. I think it's safe to say that. When I first met Dizzy Reed here in Las Vegas, having him jam with different projects I was involved in or recording music, I quickly learned that Dizzy Reed was all about the music. One day he could play a stadium and the next day he'll play a bar. He is about making and creating new music. He's not going to sit back and rest on one thing. And while some people have to make music to make a living, maybe in Dizzy's case, he makes music because it's his passion. His solo records show that. I've spoke about them many times on the show. Rock and Roll Ain't Easy came out in 2018, and the latest record, Rock and Roll Chose Me, came out last year. It's available everywhere now. We're going to put a link in the description. The music, it just covers so much of, I think, what Dizzy's about and what I think people want to hear. We're going to talk to Dizzy Reed after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there to waste time with that. All right, please welcome Dizzy Reed.
Hey, Jason, what's happening? I love the intro jam. That sounds killer.
Thank you. That's Scotty Griffin singing.
Yeah.
It's me playing bass and Richie Ramone on drums. So it's a
fantastic. All right.
All-star lineup. Dizzy, before we went on, I said, when you have a friend and someone you know that makes a record, you hope you're going to like it, because otherwise you're going to have to just go, yeah, it was good. But I really do enjoy these records.
Well, I'm glad that you do. That'll make this a lot easier, won't
it? Right. Yeah. Well, it's rare I've had to promote something I didn't like, because then you don't have to always do the interview. In this case, I've wanted you to come on for quite some time. I'll tell you, when I heard the song Forgotten Cases on the first solo record, that was the one that hooked me. And I said, wow, cool. These songs are just so great. And it left me wanting more. And I said to a lot of people, I go, look, all the members of Guns N' Roses have had solo records. I go, I think Dizzy's are the best. These are the ones that I continually go back and listen to and really enjoy. Just these big hooks. The new record, I feel like, shows a little bit more versatility, a little bit different. I feel like a little more experimental at times. You probably see that as well.
I think one of the things that makes it seem that way is it was I have sort of less restrictions, I guess. I just kind of wanted to do whatever I just wanted to do. I think on my first record that Del was a lot more involved. Del James was a lot more involved with that, and we wanted to keep it more of a hard rock, guitar-based record, and bring in all these great musicians that did play on my first record. But with this, I think it was kind of more of me in the studio and working well with my friend Jason Zillis, who co-produced this record with me. And just, less restrictions. I just really wanted to do more what I felt like doing, and not have to really gear it towards anything other than me making a record that I liked.
I think that the order that you release these records sort of makes sense. It's a logical step, starting with, like you said, some maybe a more straight ahead rock album. I love these covers. I love that this one, Rock and Roll Ain't Easy, has the vinyl wear on it.
Yes.
Even on CD. I love that. And then on the newest one, which we'll take a look at right here, another cool effect. I love the parental advisory.
Well, I think we actually had to put that on there.
It's much cooler regardless, right?
Yeah, no, it's great.
How old are you in that picture?
That is me. I'm 12 years old. We were having a rock and roll band rehearsal in my mom and dad's basement. And that's me flipping off my mom for taking my picture. So if you notice, my mom gets the photo credit on that.
She deserves it. And
yes,
you were ahead of your time, or what would become your future with the flipping off. Let's go back a little bit and talk about a little bit of your life. You were born in Illinois, but you grew up in Colorado, right?
Yeah, we moved away from the Chicago area when I was 8 years old. We moved to Boulder, Colorado. Um, and it's weird, like it wasn't for any other reason than my dad wanted to get out of Chicago. And he'd been to Boulder when he was a kid, so we moved there. And that is something I took for granted growing up. I go back there now, I go, why did I move away from this place?
Mhm.
It's beautiful there, but it's also cold, and I like it here in sunny Southern California just as much. So take the weather.
Your grandmother played the organ, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
She did. She played the organ, and my grandparents lived in an apartment with us upstairs at our house in Illinois, and also they moved with us to Colorado. So I always, yeah, she would let me beat on it, make noise, and because it was really cool. But she played so good, and I remember just watching her play. I'm like, I kind of want to do that, and she taught me a couple songs, and I just took it from there.
It's interesting because you grew up on classic rock. It's a great time to be listening to music. There was a lot of other musicians in Colorado at that time as well. And so not everyone is going to grasp to keyboards, organ, piano, and everyone wants to play the guitar. Tell me, did you think about other instruments?
Not until later, excuse me. But I did. I was in my first band, which I started, when I was, in that picture. We're about a year into it at that point, and we were together till we were 20. And I kind of accidentally became the singer. I was the lead singer for that band for all those years. And keyboards was kind of like a cool side thing because a lot of bands didn't have keyboards. A lot of bands still don't. But it was so it was a cool little side thing, and it all happened by accident. My grandma, when they moved, eventually they moved out and got their own place, and we were getting older. She saw this talent in me, and she really wanted to nurture that talent, which was playing the keyboards. And luckily she saw that. But we didn't have a lot of money. They didn't have a lot of money, so we couldn't really buy me an organ. And she took that with her. But she bought me this little thing. I wish I still had it. It's like it's from Radio Shack, man. And she bought it there, and it has a little keyboard. It's like a synthesizer, very simple. Mm-hmm. And there's a little keyboard. It's a metal keyboard laid out, and there's a stylus, and you touch it, and it completes the circuit and makes the tone, right? And so there was a talent show at Douglas Elementary School in Boulder in 6th grade. And these guys were starting a band, and I had brought this thing in for show and tell. And they're like, hey, do you want to be in our band? That thing's cool. We could play Smoke on the Water on that, right? Mm. So there it was. I was in the band playing keyboards, more or less. And we didn't know, you need a bass player, lead singer, all that stuff. So we all kind of sang Smoke on the Water. But I was the one who had a mic because they really wanted to hear that thing, that really cool tone. So I was the only one people could hear singing. So from that point on, I became the singer. And then I told my folks, listen, I'm really, really want to get into this. And they bought me that Hohner keyboard. I think they put it on layaway, and the rest was like history from there, man. But I'm just lucky
that keyboard. What's
that?
You still have that keyboard?
No, but I do have a clavinet, which is like the big brother of that. And the one that you hear on a lot of records. I've thought about buying one of those things, but I'm just, nostalgic wise. I traded it in for a Wurlitzer when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. And then when I got out of high school, I traded that Wurlitzer in for a Fender Rhodes, which is kind of tough to lug around. But when I moved out to LA in 1985, I still had the Fender Rhodes. So there was this chain, of the connection, which is pretty crazy. But I'm really lucky that my grandma saw that talent in me and nurtured it. And I'm also very lucky that, those guys two of the guys that were in that band and that talent show, the drummer and I, Pat Gill, he's fantastic. We still talk. And him and I, we were we were together from that point on until we were 20 years old. So 8 years. That's a pretty good run for a rock band. But we were good. We had there were some great musicians at my high school. We met this guy, Chris Marino, who was from Denver. He would drive down to play with us, and he was a year younger than us, but he was, in seventh, eighth grade, he could play all the Zeppelin stuff. So I think we had the best band maybe in the whole state. I don't know, but we were kids, and so it was like this thing, get the kids to come play at your party, get the kids to come play at your bar eventually, get the kids to come play. It was like we're like Hanson or something.
Right, yeah.
But a lot cooler. But we didn't have the big hit, so.
Yeah. You find hits later in your life, but you make the move to Hollywood, as so many people do, make that pilgrimage for rock and roll, 1985. Yeah. What were you thinking? Did you have somewhere to go?
I did. I was lucky. I came out here in 84. Mm-hmm. I ran out of money, and I remember walking down Hawthorne Boulevard with a tire chain and a boom box. And I think I had shoes on, trying to get back to the airport so I could get a flight home. I ended up joining the coolest and the biggest band in Denver. They were looking for a keyboard player. At some point, when we were 20 years old, my band, and we were called Bootleg, by the way, we broke up. I think we moved into a house together after high school. And that's, if you want to ruin a good friendship from high school, mm-hmm. move in together. It'll fuck it right up, man. But we had a lot of good times at that. We moved into this cool house. It's called the Rock House, and it's right in Boulder on Arapahoe and 63rd Street. It's still there, surrounded by industrial space and a busy street and a trailer park way across the road. So we could turn it up as loud as we wanted. No one would ever hear it. We could have parties there. There was all this parking in the industrial parking lots, right, for all the businesses. And it was an incredible place. But we got on each other's nerves, and then we went in different directions. So at that time, I decided, you know what, maybe I should focus on the keyboard playing a little bit more. I kind of burnt myself out singing. I was just, when you're that young, your voice is changing stuff. I never had a lesson. I went to take a lesson, and strangely, she goes, I want to hear you play the piano. And I did. Her name was Sunny Quick, by the way, if she's still out there. She was fantastic. But she kind of convinced me, you have not that I couldn't sing, but you got a lot of talent here, on the piano. So I started sort of, pushing myself as a keyboard player. I joined a band called the Eccentrics, who were really cool. They were like older punk rock guys that were starting to get into this like new wave. And we recorded a record. I don't know whatever happened to it, but I'm not sure what happened to the money. I didn't get any of it, but they were all feeling pretty good, I think, a lot of times. So I didn't know anything about that kind of stuff. So I don't want to make any accusations. Just leave it at that. I ended up I saw this band called Gauntlet, and they were opening for Rat at the Rainbow Music Hall in Denver, which was this fantastic venue that was seated maybe 1,000 people. And it was general admission. I saw so many great bands there. A lot of bands would jump off. If they're opening and they're on the, up and up, they would jump off into a headlining show there. I saw Gauntlet opening for Rat. All the girls were screaming. All the guys were booing. I was 20 years old. I'm like, I want to join that band. And I met the drummers. Somehow there's just weird shit happens sometimes. I don't know if I believe in fate. I think it's just more of like, you make your own good luck. But I met this kid, got a job at where I was working. I was working for my dad at this grocery store in Fort Lupton, the Fort Lupton Market. And a good friend of mine, this guy that got a job there became a good friend of mine. His name was Mike Romero. We called him the Snake because he was the snake. He looked like Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. Yeah. The Snake tells me one day, he goes, I was talking about Gauntlet, and he goes, oh yeah, I used to be in that band. I'm like, get the fuck out. And it turns out him and Sid, the drummer, jammed together a couple times. And so he introduced me to Sid at that show, at the Rat and Gauntlet show. And it just so happened that they were looking for a keyboard player. And I met Sid. I went down, I sat on a basement floor with my little keyboard that I had, which was an upgrade from the Stylus, by the way. Mm-hmm. And it was, and played along some demo tapes, and they paraded all their buddies and their crew, down to check me out. And they're like, yeah, he's cool. All right. So I got the gig, and the singer, Johnny, goes, can you move to LA? We're going to go out to LA, will you be ready? I'm like, when are we moving? He's like, oh, April 1st, which was in like a week. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Bye everybody. And I'm still here in LA.
Yeah. It's one of those trips. The band, The Wild, does that come after Gauntlet?
Gauntlet became The Wild.
Okay. So one band merged into the other. Yeah.
Yeah, we became Johnny and the Jaguars, and then we merged into The Wild. And The Wild was it was a great band, really, really good. We went through a couple of record deals. I'm not sure what happened, but ended up not mattering to me anyway, because I met Guns N' Roses. So
yeah. So The Wild was rehearsing right near where Guns N' Roses was. Were they recording or were they rehearsing?
The Wild. We moved into a rehearsal space off of Sunset and Gardner Street, right in the smack middle of Hollywood, right behind where Guitar Center is now. Yeah. There was these 3 studios, and we moved into this little tiny one. Man, it was like we could fit our gear and 4 dudes on the floor like that. We slept in our fucking sleeping bags on this floor, and we'd acquired. There was a furniture. This guy that repaired and built furniture was in that same little parking lot, and he would throw out these like foam mats, for chairs and couches and shit. And so we'd take those and we'd sleep on those. It was crazy. And we did that for about 6 months. Next door was this big studio with an air conditioner, a refrigerator. There's about 3 or 4 bands sharing that room, and we decided we needed to get out of there. We're going to move out. And we had another studio, and it fell through. So we were kind of fucked. And just so luck would have it, all 4 of those bands moved out. And so it was more money than we had, but we'll come up with the money somehow. So back then it was probably, I don't know, $800 a month. While this little place couldn't have been more than $300 a month. Mm-hmm. And you're not supposed to live in these places, by the way.
Yes.
But, we were all in, as they say, all in. So we moved into the big studio, and lo and behold, Guns N' Roses moved into that little studio. So we were literally right next door to each other on the other side of the wall. We shared a telephone. Okay. And that's how that all started. And
what year would you say that is?
That was definitely 1985. Mm-hmm. All right. So they hadn't been signed yet, but they were headlining everywhere. There was the word was out, the mania was already happening. And we got fully immersed in that, living at that studio. It was pretty crazy. Every night there was a cool party, it seemed like something happening every night. And music too was going back and forth, they moved out eventually, and we stayed there I was at that little shithole for almost 2 years. We were a while living like that. Pretty crazy. But, we moved into the big place. We had a fridge. We had an air conditioner. So what can you say? There's no bathroom.
I was just going to say, that's an inconvenience, to say the least.
I just met some buddies of mine. Nadi and I had dinner at El Compadre the other night. And I showed them all. I go, look, it was like me and Doug Aldrich and Richard Burnett and my friend Tommy Dimitrov. They're in town. So we met. And I took them back. I showed them in the bathroom. I'm like, this is where we used to go to the toilet, because you could get in here before the restaurant was open. So that was our bathroom. Like, I was in there reading the paper, shaving, right there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they know that, but yeah. Thank you, El Compadre, for making life a little bit easier for us.
Do you remember when you first met Axl Rose?
I do. I was laying, not laying. I was having a bit of I was wooing this girl, and I was having a bit of a romantic moment on one of those pads. The studio was cleared out. So I'm like, well, just, hey, let's go in here and talk. And we were just talking, but there was trash everywhere. And we were sitting in the middle of this trash, and Axl walks in to check out the studio because they were going to get it. And with West Arkeen, and he walks in, he looks down, he sees me, and he goes, I like that guy. I can't imagine what it looked like, but yeah, that.
Led to the beginning of a friendship. Guns N' Roses obviously get signed. They're playing. You're still working your band, doing your thing. Years later, Axl Rose is going to call you, right? I mean, were you say you were friends? Were you hanging out in between 85 and 90?
Yeah, they early on, like at that place, he had a plan, that he was going to play, keyboards and stuff, and he wanted someone to be able to cover his parts and also, add whatever they could. And he heard me playing when most of the there weren't a lot of keyboard players in LA at that time. There just weren't. But the ones that were out playing were more prog, classically influenced, and guys with a lot of gear and a lot of money. And that wasn't me. So he heard me playing piano one time, and I think I was playing Bad Company by Bad Company off the record Bad Company. And, and he, I think he was asleep, man. And I think he was taking a nap, or we'd been up all night. And I remember him just kind of waking up and he's like going to that. And he said, I think at that point, and I could be totally wrong, but that's how I kind of remember it. And he said that I was going to be the keyboard player in the future. So you hear stuff like that all the time. A lot of people don't follow through with it, but we did stay in touch after they moved out. We did remain friends. And I got to say, also with some of the other guys in the band,
Right.
when we see each other out, but it was just weird because they got signed eventually. And they were cool. They had a house up in the hills, and they invited us up there a couple times, to get out of there. If we wanted to come by, use the shower, take a swim, they were cool. And so, but every time I'd see them out of the clubs, they'd have cooler clothes, or, the buzz was just bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And, but he stood by his word, because that's the kind of dude he is, a stand-up guy. And also, I guess, it was part of the plan, and yeah, so he tracked me down, because I was still doing the couch tour, and he tracked me down and said, we need you in the studio to record Civil War. So that was the beginning of that.
And originally, it was just going to be that one song. The original Civil War, Steven Adler played drums on it. It was still that original lineup. So did you think, I'm just going to play on this one song and that's that?
I did, until I didn't, until I heard differently. But I also, we recorded Knocking on Heaven's Door too, but that was with Matt. Matt had come in now. And I think at that point I was already down at pre-productions for the Use Your Illusions. So I had a pretty good idea. I know that he wanted me to come on tour, and eventually, they were kind enough to slip me in as part of the band, which because I just, there was a thing back then. They would put keyboard players behind curtains.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that.
Sure.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. I can't do that. I don't know if they ever planned on putting me behind a curtain. I'm sure some of the guys probably wanted to, but I couldn't do that. And Axl went to bat for me. So, and some of the other guys too. So it was, I'm grateful. It's still happening. I'm grateful and thankful and blessed to have been able to do it all these years, because it doesn't suck, man. These are songs that I was a fan of the band before I joined, and I'm also like, I love the songs. So it's cool. It is a job. The traveling is a job. Trust me, if you ever get into this, kids, it's the traveling will get to you eventually. But the music, it still moves me, it really does. And it's still fun to play. So I'm really into it.
We say you get paid to travel. The show is free. That's not the hard part.
Right. That's well put.
It's those long flights. Obviously, Axl Rose is a piano player himself, and there's demos of songs like November Rain going way back that he played. So when you come in, what do they tell you your role is for Use Your Illusions? And also, did they know that Use Your Illusions was going to be 2 albums at the time?
Yeah, no, it was all that was planned out.
Yeah.
My role was to pay attention to what he was doing, so I could play it live. And then I think, I kind of had a green light to go ahead and try what I wanted to on other songs, and I kept it very. I wanted to keep it very analog, old school. So most of the stuff that I do is Hammond piano, clavinet, right? Maybe some Worley in there. I can't remember. Um, and but when he was doing the strings and stuff for November Rain, I was there just trying to keep up, pay attention because I had to cover all that.
Dizzy, I
Uh,
wanted you to I wanted you to explain because people see you in Guns N' Roses and go, well, he's the keyboard player. But I think that a lot of people don't know the difference between a Hammond, keys, piano. Tell me a little bit about those differences and what you do in Guns N' Roses. It's evolved over the years.
well, it has evolved over the years. Um, I just, Hammond for me is something that can back up, or if necessary, not Guns N' Roses really, but compete with the guitars. It's a heavy duty instrument. Piano is it can a lot of the piano I play is sort of like boogie, or it's an accompaniment of the rock and roll stuff. But it also is I can people you can rock on the piano, but piano is a great way to express yourself in the more emotional, or I hate the fucking term ballad, so I'm not going to say that, but the slower songs.
The slower songs, yeah.
The slower, the songs that are at a lower tempo.
Right. So I know you've been asked this a lot. When do you remember your first show with Guns N' Roses?
How could I forget it?
Where was it?
Of course, it was Rock in Rio in 1991, I think, and it was like 100,000 people. So that's called baptism by fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was a little. I don't know. It's this weird thing is like when you play in front of 100,000 people, it's kind of numbing a little bit, right? You just feel that energy, you feel that power, right? There's just, especially down there. I mean, the fans go crazy. They still do. I mean, it's nuts. All of South America, Latin America, and Europe and stuff. And um, but when we got back, we did some club shows. And the one in Hollywood, I was nervous as a motherfucker because I looked out there and I knew everybody in the audience at the Palladium, right? It was like, oh, there's so and 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 so, and then people backstage and everything. So I don't know. I might have missed a couple notes that night, but sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I think you made up for it. But in time, you'll be on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. You'll be on pinball machines. Is this something? They are exactly. Is this something that is hard for you? What about addiction? What about drinking? Everyone, you're suddenly very famous.
Yeah, I slid right in at the time with all that, and I, and they were very good about like, hey, don't let this shit get to your head. Don't ever think of yourself or refer to yourself as a rock star. And I never have, never, and I never will. I don't. I think right now I consider myself an artist and a performer, and that's kind of what I go by.
Yeah. Was there ever a time in Guns N' Roses that you said, I don't know if I can continue. I don't know if I can do this. The travel, the lifestyle.
No, I don't think so. What else am I going to do? I mean, this is all I do. This is all I've ever wanted to do. I don't know how to do anything else. I mean, I could stack apples at a grocery store because I did that growing up. But even that's changed, I don't even know. There's apples I don't even know what the hell they're. I can't even pronounce the names of them now. So
apples have come along. Yeah, apples have come a long way.
Apples have really come. Apples and oranges. Let's talk about apples and oranges. When they're this is the one time when you can talk about apples and oranges together in the same conversation, right? Apples and oranges have come a long way. There, we said it. We did it. We're the first. We might be the first people to ever do that. Apples and oranges, man.
That's going to be a blabbermouth headline, I think. I have a hunch.
Yeah. No, they'll say they'll make it divisive. So apples and Jason says oranges are better. Dizzy says apples are better.
Right. Which is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I asked Del same question. I go, did you ever think about working with another band? Did you ever have enough? And he said, you know what, Guns N' Roses has been very good to me, and I'm loyal to it. I'm just gonna see it through. Um, you guys have been with it for a long time. It's
Yeah.
36 years for you, believe it or not.
You didn't have to remind me, but I do know that.
Well,
No,
it's you say
it's
when we talk about the solo records, you talk about Guns N' Roses is what gives you the opportunity to do this.
yeah, right. Well, first of all, Axel and they have been very, very, very cool about letting me do other things. Obviously, I've played with some other bands. I've toured with other bands. With the Psychedelic Furs and the Dead Daisies, and I was fortunate enough to play some shows with Joe Perry from Aerosmith, and even the smaller things like playing with the Sin City Sinners. I mean, which, by the way, those were great, good memories for me. And I know that you were involved with that at the time. And I really appreciate how they just really took care of me. And it was so much fun. And I needed that at that time in my life because things were kind of on the down. And it was just fun to be able to go to Vegas and play those shows, man. It was really cool.
Just great stuff. And you have such a cool, you're an encyclopedia of cool rock. And then just playing all those different songs. We had you play all the way from Memphis on One of the Sinners,
and which is a great record and great recording, by the way. I still put that up once in a while.
Very cool. Yeah. I remember that we had you I hired you to do a DJ gig at the Mandalay Bay Casino. To play the first record before it was even out. It was sort of like, let's let these people hear some songs. And I remember that's Dizzy when I realized that this is you do this as a labor of love for music. And because I said to you, look, they want me to read this introduction for you, and they want to mention that you're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which you were inducted into. And you said, you know what, we don't have to. You don't have to oversell it. And I realized this is not what it's about for you. You don't have to be that person.
Right. Yeah. This. I'm honored that my name is in there with all those other great musicians, but it's not something that I I don't really put it. If I had to make a resume, it wouldn't be in my resume. I just playing in front of all people, like you said, in your introduction, big stadiums, bars, which by the way, free drinks go a long way with me. Just saying. It's because I love playing in front of people, and I love making people happy, and joking around with them, and just getting to know people all over the place, man. That's what it's all about for me, and that's what makes the traveling, acceptable, really.
I've seen you play a stadium and then the next day take a keyboard out of the trunk of your car and jam and play music. So that's a testament to your passion for this.
But it's a Chevy Silverado, by the way. There's no trunk on that motherfucker. There's a fucking bed, and it's got a cover on it, and I can haul all my shit wherever I want, when I want. So if you see me driving my Chevy Silverado and you want to give me shit about the fucking environment, please don't. I need that truck. We need the environment. Yes, I know. Okay. But I need a truck to do my job. So please don't give me shit. There. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Keyboard's not going to haul itself. And,
no.
And we hope the keyboard works, because the first time we got you, the keyboard did not work.
And we
had to go find you one right before the show.
Oh, I don't remember that. Mm-hmm. Was it my keyboard?
I think so. Green Valley Ranch. Yeah.
Oh, no. Mm-hmm. No, I wouldn't have been. Really? Okay. Well, thank you for the Green Valley Ranch. It was New Year's Eve.
That was a great gig. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, man. Well, thank you for getting that keyboard.
I don't even remember what we did, but I will take the thanks. How long has it been since it's been this lineup? I know you changed drummers, but
it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. Yeah, we got a different drummer, but it's been 10 years since we've been doing it, and really, those three guys, it's really they're and they're the focus, and they earned it, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm so lucky every day to wake up and look in the mirror and go, dude, you get to play rock and roll music for a living.
I don't want to remind you how busy you are, but here's the world
Oh,
tour
I haven't seen this yet.
2026. You might want to plan ahead. I've learned, I heard you
Oh,
say everyone asks for free tickets in Vegas, so I'm going to go to a different city.
that would be wise.
Yeah, you know everybody in Vegas.
Vegas has become the new Hollywood. It
Hmm.
used to be when you played in LA, man, I was just like, I'd take my phone off the hook, man. It's like, don't bother.
A lot of the
And
guys who played on your solo records, Alex Grossi, Jeff Duncan, all live here in Vegas as well.
yes, they do. And those are two of my favorite people in the world and two of my favorite guitar players. And I'm so happy that they were able to contribute not only to this record, but my first record as well. You know, Alex helped me get a lot of the tunes together for the first record, and Jeff helped me get a lot of the tunes together for the second record. So I write on guitar
Hmm.
because most of my favorite music is guitar based music. You know, obviously Guns N' Roses is a guitar based band, and the bands that I like are guitar based. So I figured out a long time ago, if I was going to convey my ideas to the band, I had to do it on guitar. So I'd hear them in my head as guitar parts, and then you try to play it on a keyboard, it doesn't translate at all, right? So pick up the guitar and sit. It's easy to sit down and work with those guys in that fashion. You know, I have limitations, but I did end up on this new record contributing a lot of the guitar parts just because it was easier. When you don't typically you don't play an instrument when it's not your main instrument, or if you're just writing on it like I do, it's not typical chording, it's not typical fingering, right? So it's going to sound a little different, a little weird, and sometimes it's like, you know what, I just need to play that part like I play it, so I would, track it. But yeah, I forgot where we were going with that, but
No, we were talking about Alex and Jeff and guitar players
yeah.
and what they've contributed to your both of your solo records. I was going to ask you, when you see those tour dates and okay, I'm going to go out across the world for a long time, what do you do to prepare? Does your wife travel with you?
My wife travels with me. Yes, she does. Nadia is she is my manager. She's my therapist. She's my everything.
Hmm.
It makes it so much more comfortable and easier. And getting up there, I just it's good to have somebody with me all the time that can just help me out. And also just because she's the love of my life, and just having her around is it just makes my life so much better. And she's also a member of my other band, Hookers and Blow,
Yep.
which we just played a show. We haven't been playing that much because Alex and Johnny have been and Mike, Wasp was touring everywhere.
Hmm.
Mike's the bass player for people who don't know, and Johnny's the drummer, and he and Alex have been doing Quiet Riot for quite some time, and we're all really busy, but I know we really want to do a tour or two, when we finally have the time and before we get too crazy old. I mean, I don't know, 70-year-old Hookers and Blow. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
Okay, we could do that.
Fremont Street is
If I can
loaded.
still sing and stand and play, I'll do it. Sure.
Fremont Street is loaded with 70-year-old hookers and blow.
That's right.
Busy, you got to indulge me in this one. I read, and we'll see if this is true, and I want to hear the story. In 2005, Dizzy Reed took the unusual step of seeking admission to a college fraternity, well after the traditional age of inductees. And on January 22nd, 2006, he was admitted to the Cornell University chapter of Zeta. I don't know how you say it. Phi?
Zeta Psi.
Phi. This is like the movie Old School, for those watching who might not know that movie.
This story is 100% true. The only thing about it was they approached me because it was rush week, and this kid, God, I can't remember his name. He was awesome, but they approached me and asked me if I would do that, and I said, "Fuck yeah! How much does it pay?" So they got some money together. They flew me out to Ithaca and drove me over to Cornell, and it's by far one of the funnest things I've ever done. but I did. They gave me the full initiation into the fraternity, and I'm a member of the class of 2005. I think my
Yeah.
name's on the wall, and I think that they named a room in the house after me because of the place where I slept. And they were kind enough to. One of the things I said was like, "Okay, I'm going to be there on Sunday. Can I leave Monday because the Broncos, the Denver Broncos, my beloved Denver Broncos, by the way, were playing in the, I think it was the AFC Championship game against the Steelers, and or it might have been the second round. I'm not sure, but it was a playoff game, and they set up a big screen TV for me in a lounger down in the main room so I could watch the Broncos get pummeled."
Yeah, unfortunately, was this some kind of publicity stunt that they what were they trying to do?
It was Rush Week, so they're like, "Hey, we got this. We got the guy from Guns N' Roses coming down. Why don't you, But I don't know if you know this, but I'm also a member of a sorority.
No, it wasn't in Wikipedia.
It was I'm a Pi Phi, honorary Pi Phi. And by the way, I'm an honorary Zeta Psi too. So, because I'm not Cornell material by any stretch of the imagination. But it's a weird thing. I feel this sort of like bond. And when I say, "Hey, what did Cornell?" Like I see their Cornell come up in the news or on the sports scores, I'm like, "Oh, Cornell won." Yeah. They have a great hockey team, by the way. Yeah, we were out back in the early 90s. We were on tour with Guns, and I think it was me and Dell and Duff and Gilby and maybe a couple of security guys. And we were at a show in Blacksburg, which is, what is that? The University of West Virginia, I think,
know
or Marshall. Anyway, there are these girls from the sorority there, and we met them, and they asked us if they said, "Hey, you want to go to a party?" What do you say? You don't say no to that. So, but we went to their sorority house at first, and we got the den mother came down and just said, "Get the fuck out of here," because we had a bottle of booze and stuff. So we went back to another house that they had a connection at, and they inducted us into their sorority, which was extremely cool. And I still consider myself a proud Pi Phi and also a proud Zeta Psi member. So I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm trying to think of how it would not be true. I might be the only person in the world that is a member of a sorority and a fraternity that has never went to college ever.
I think that we will have to go to the books, but I think that one, we'll go to the judges, but I think you're probably the only one. We should also add, you've been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So there's nobody who's done the three.
If you throw that in there, then I'm sure, and that's like what is that?
Triple threat.
Yeah, quadruple, triple, quadruple. Yeah, which is good, quadruple, because that's how I like my shots of Jägermeister, quadruples.
I want to wrap up where we began, which is talking about this album, Rock and Roll.
Yes, let's do that.
Chose me, and I want to make sure that people get it. You can get it on vinyl, is linked in the description. You can listen to it wherever music is. What I want to know about making these records is, what is your process? Do you sit down and go, "I'm going to record a full record," or do you have to do a little bit here, a little bit there based on your schedule?
I have a plethora, a backlog, if you will, of ideas. And when it comes time to, when I started thinking about, with the first record, I had these demos that were pretty well worked up, that I'd done over the years. And this is before I had my own studio, and this is before you could make records at home and stuff. Right. So I had this whole thing that was sort of some leftover stuff maybe, but I with the demos and everything, Dell had heard that, and also Mike Duda, who's a good friend of mine, and they kind of convinced me to go in and make a record. I was a little skeptical, so after that, I really just started getting back into writing. I'd seen a couple of bands that really inspired me, Danko Jones being one of those. I'm like, I got to get back into writing, man. Fuck. So I just started going through, it inspired me to come up with newer ideas, but I load them onto the computer. They're there, they're waiting around. I was like, okay, then I'll go through them. I'm like, okay, which songs did I finish, work up now for this next record? And that's what I did. And I'm starting another one right now, now too. So I'm going
That's
through
good
this.
to hear. What's
And
your process when you're on the road? Do you travel with a keyboard in your hotel? Do you jot things on your phone? I mean, what is your process
oh
of when a song
God,
comes
the
to you?
iPhone is so great for that. Just if you can just sing in an idea, because how many times, and it never fails, you get that idea in your head and you have no access to, what do I do? How do I get it out? So I'll just sing it into the iPhone, or I can imagine the chords in my head, and I'll just print those, that in notes, and then I'll put it with the melody, and there's a bunch of those that I got to go through. I'm telling you, a lot.
Do you think also that maybe one of these songs, hey, that could be more of a Guns N' Roses song because you do write with Guns N' Roses as well?
Um, I spent a lot of time writing, contributing ideas, I like to
Right.
say, or giving birth to ideas. That's the way I put it.
Mhm.
I gave birth to it, and then Guns N' Roses raised it. And they
Mhm.
added their things.
Because you
But
have to think which, this sounds like something for this solo record. Like I said, this second record, Rock and Roll Chose Me, there's more variety. Some songs will sound like Little Richard rocking on the
yeah,
piano, and then you'll have a straight ahead rock song. It's some different styles.
yeah, there's different styles. I'm a sponge. It's all in there, and I don't like genres. I don't like the fact that um, I understand like how it's easier to market things that way with genres, but I don't think as an artist you should have to be confined by that.
Sure.
So I think there's songs on this record that are um, that are all over the place with genres. But I think once I learned, like with GNR, especially when, and I'm not comparing myself to him vocally at all, but like when Axl sings the song, it becomes Guns N' Roses, and then when Slash plays the solo, it becomes Guns. It's there's certain elements that make it that way. But if you listen to GNR stuff, especially all the newer stuff and going way back, there's November Rain is not a metal song.
Mhm.
You know, I don't think Sweet Child of Mine is a metal song either. It's rock and roll, and so that's how do you categorize that? You don't. You can't. It's Guns N' Roses. So I think that's one thing I learned. I think if when my stylings are on the record, it's me, no matter what the however you want to categorize the song. So. But as far as like the writing, I right now I write because I need to. I have to. I need to get it out. So I'm not particularly writing for anybody or anything except for probably myself. But I'll say, if one of the guys hears it in Guns N' Roses and wants to record it, I'm like, sure, But I don't know if that's happening. So um, I'll just put it out and hopefully that people will enjoy it as much as I did. And right now I think and the next step, of course, when I have some time, is to get out and play these songs for people.
Yes,
And
absolutely. That's one thing.
so it's not going to be easy, but sometimes I feel like I dug myself a hole because I have I just, as kind of a joke, if you look at the liner notes, I put every single thing that I played on every song, and it's like a paragraph. So,
Mhm.
but the thing is, a good song is a good song. You should be able to sit down, play it on piano and sing it, play it on guitar and sing it. And I think all those songs you can do that. So
Oh, Dizzy, I agree with you. There's hooks for days. You can sing along to these songs, and I think it catches people quick. I'd like for people who listen to the records to go in the comments and tell us your favorite songs from the records and the ones that you like. And I'm hoping that we turn some people on to some music that maybe they would have missed. It's a competitive world out there, and
yeah,
obviously, Guns N' Roses is your job, and so
yeah.
there's other things. It's hard to get out and promote these things, and I really do hope people will give it a listen because I think you'll get caught fast.
You know what? For all the people that have been supportive of me, whether it's my thing or with Hookers and Blow, over the years, I love you. Thank you so much for that. And I think, spread the word. It'll get out there. It's easier now than ever to reach people from your home, from your car, from wherever. But as you said, it's competitive. It's there was a reason why they had A&R and record labels. They made it, and there was a reason for the genres. Getting back to that, it's just so they could market it. Now it's like you really market yourself, and the music's kind of a side thing. I don't know. Is that kind of how it is now? It
It
seems that
sure
way.
seems like it. We have celebrities who are, making albums because they were reality stars, or the fame is more important than the music. It seems in a lot of cases, as far as getting a deal or getting heard or seen.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think luckily for me, and again, I can't thank the powers that be enough, or the guys in Guns N' Roses enough for, it gives me a little bit of staying power, just to say that I was in that band, or am in that band, I should
Yeah.
say. Why did I say was? I am in that band. Let's clarify.
Mhm.
But some people, I get a lot, people go, Guns N' Roses. Oh, whatever happened to them? I'm like, what? Are you under a rock, dude?
It's incredible that being even in one of the biggest bands of all time, you still get people who just uh,
They, yeah,
don't know.
they don't know. Or I go, well, who are you? I'm a Dizzy. Oh, you play the guitar, right? And like, no, that was Izzy. No, it's not.
One
But
time you left me tickets at a show. I can't remember what city, maybe Colorado. And I go up to the box office and I go, they go, who left your tickets? And I go, oh, Dizzy. And they go, Izzy? And I go, no, Dizzy. The next 5 minutes turns into this Larry David moment of, no, Izzy's not here. It's Dizzy. And yes.
wonderful. That's wonderful.
Mhm,
In my hometown, no less. Boy, oh boy.
mhm. Yeah, I don't think they were. It's not a big college town.
No. I wanted to say, like, when I made both these records, I made them with uh in my with the idea in mind that I wanted it to sound good on vinyl. I think that way. All my favorites, all my most influential music that I listened to when I was a kid was on vinyl, and there's still a certain crackle and warmth that's there, that that makes it special to me. Which leads me to, you can still buy the vinyl.
Yeah. We're
And
gonna link we're
yeah,
gonna link everything in the description so people can get it. But I was just looking at it now. The vinyl is available for the record, which, as you said, is kind of the way you intended. Did you intend to have a side one and a side two in your mind? Did you know where side two started?
um, yes, side two for sure. It was Into It Through the outro, into Earn It to Burn It. And those songs, like, I wanted them to run together, you know, like Funeral for a Friend, and um, the other song I can't think right now, Elton John. I'm getting old, dude. I can't think of stuff, you know. But yeah, anyway, they run together. So I knew that was going to be the first two songs on side two. And I knew that Falling Down Together was going to be after that. Dell and I kind of went through getting the first side together, but we thought Revolution LA should be the the first song. And then you kind of, sometimes it's what you do is you just kind of arrange them on your computer or whatever, and then you listen and see if it works, you know. If it doesn't, and I like to get other people's opinions all the time. And by the way, for any up and coming songwriters out there and artists, please get other people's opinions. It's so, and be able to take constructive criticism or shitty criticism, and that's, through friends that you trust, it's their opinion, and that's with, with everything. And go play in front of people, because if you don't, you're never going to get better. That's how you get better, is you try out your stuff in front of people and you see how they react. And you got to go through the shitty shows to get to the good shows. That's just how it works. And that's how you get better. So I just thought I'd throw on that advice.
I think it's very sound advice, and I don't know if we've mentioned exactly, but Dale James is a road manager for Guns N' Roses, but he's also a lyricist, a musician of his own. He wrote with
Yeah,
Wes Arkeen,
right.
The Garden, Yesterday's, other songs. His writing influenced the music video for November
Mhm.
Rain, and he's collaborated with you lyrically on both of these albums, right?
Yeah, yes, but he's also an amazing author, and
Mhm.
and just, when I read his stuff, his stories and his books, it's just it's very inspiring. But I trust him grammatically. I trust him from a viewpoint. So what I normally do is, if nothing else, I at least run the lyrics by him. Like, what do you think? How does this read? How does this sing? How does it feel? Is this something that isn't, because you get myself, I get a little bit lost sometimes with like perspective with like, third person, first person, whatever. Right. So I'll run it by him. And sometimes, he'll offer a great idea, like change that. Sometimes I'll go, no, it's perfect as is, Other times, I'll sit down, we'll have like a session. I'll go over to his place and we'll sit down and I'll go, this is what I got. And then we'll just kind of add to it. And he's just really easy to work with. And I trust him. That's the thing. I trust what he's going to say. He'll tell me if it's no good. And there's been times I'm like, no, I'm sticking with that, and then when he hears it back later in the music, then it works. Right. But like Revolution LA, that was kind of his concept. I had the music, but he came up with that whole intro bit, that the record starts off with, that I'm singing.
Yeah, the record, yeah.
And I got that sort of old bluesy thing going on with a little bit of Don Henley in there, and it just kind of sets everything up. Right. So does that make sense? Bluesy blues, little Don Henley.
I heard the record, so it does to me, but yeah.
But so that kind of sets it up. He was a lot more involved on the first record. He also with the music, but and I couldn't have done that record without him, because he's the one who kind of Frankensteined all the musicians together. He has a knack for that. So the rain's picking up. We're getting drenched out here. It's gonna be, it'll be your way anytime.
2 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, it's dark and cloudy. I feel like it's coming. Dizzy, I got to ask you one last question. Guns N' Roses. Some of your shows are 3 hours, 4 hours long. You don't leave the stage, I don't think, right, Dizzy? You're up the whole night. I got two questions. One, do you ever just get lost in your mind thinking about something else, dinner plans or?
Oh yeah, yes, I do. That happens, and you kind of snap out of it. I'm like, oh man. Especially if it's a song that I'm just like shaking a tambourine or something, I'll be like, oh man, what's that over there? Are they selling hot dogs? What is that? And you look around, oh wait, I gotta sing. No, it's easy to do that, especially when you get older, and songs that maybe I've played a couple thousand times, I don't know.
Sure.
But you can't. As a professional, you must stay focused on the songs, and it gets harder and harder to do, especially when you get older. But what was the second question?
What do you do if you got to pee?
I knew that was going to be the question. Well, depends, to quote Mel Brooks.
Right. I walked into that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to stay hydrated on that stage. And
I do stay hydrated, and you got to drain it before you go on and just hope. And here's the thing. People don't know this, okay? A lot of times, especially in these big stadiums and stuff where there's going to be a lot of traffic, we do what's called a runner. That means you leave the stage, you go straight to your van, and you get the fuck out of there, okay? So now maybe you got a 20-minute, 30-minute, or hour drive. Mm-hmm. So now you still got to go, right? So it's, or you can rush in there and go, okay, don't leave without me. You don't want to be the guy that messes up the police escort, right? You don't want to be that guy. So, and that might, and by the way, all that stuff is necessary in case you're going, well, police escort, well, they don't want to hang out with the fans. It's like, no, we need to get the fuck out of there. Sometimes you got a plane to catch, and sometimes you just, you don't want to be stuck there you could be stuck there for 5 hours while people are getting out of there. It takes a long time for 100,000 people to leave a fucking stadium and go home. It just does, or get on the trains or whatever, So anyway, you have to time it. There really is no time at all where I can take a break.
It's an endurance test if I've ever seen one. I saw you guys at the Forum. It was the last night of one of the tours, and Axl's just calling out songs. I think he broke a record that night.
Yeah. I think that was the goal, actually, and we did.
That's what it felt like. As an outsider watching, I feel like he's going for that record, because there were songs, and you got to be on your toes and know 4 hours worth of songs.
Dude, if you could be a fly on the wall at rehearsal, it's something. Our list is really effing long. It's really the repertoire. What is that? Is it called a repertoire?
Repertoire.
Yeah. So it's long, man. it's really, it's 2 shows worth probably. It's probably 2 Guns N' Roses shows worth, maybe like 4 or 5 regular shows worth.
Do you know what you're going to play on the next tour?
No, I'm sure there'll be some surprises that will be thrown at me last minute.
Yeah, there's a
lot of songs I wish we'd play, but we'll see.
Do you ever say, "Hey, how about this one"?
No, I stay out of it. You don't want to get that look from anybody. You don't want that look.
Yeah, that's one reason you're the longest member in the band, because
that's one reason. But also, it's if there's a song that maybe we don't want to play anymore, man, don't sit down and play that on the piano or something, because you'll get that look. I want that look. I don't give the look. I just get the look.
You receive more. You receive more than you give. I get it.
I know the look, man. It's not good.
And things can change with your band, with Guns N' Roses. Obviously, somebody could pass away. Glenn Campbell could pass away. He has, and then, all right, we're going to play Wichita Lineman. All right, this happened. Let's get this one. So you're definitely always on your toes. As a musician, though, it's got to be kind of exciting.
It is, and it's also when someone passes away. Obviously, you mentioned Glenn Campbell. I love Glenn Campbell, and I'm also a huge fan of Jimmy Webb, who wrote that song.
Yeah,
and so many other great songs like MacArthur Park and stuff. So it's an honor to do those songs.
Yeah, it doesn't get boring. Guns N' Roses is going to play all the songs you want to hear. They're going to play some deep ones, and then the sky's the limit. You're off to the races. Who knows?
Yes, I just want to say we are not in any way what the fuck so ever going through the motions. we're into it, and we're going to be into it. I think as long as we can. I'm going to be into it as long as I can with my stuff, and with Hookers and Blow, and with Guns N' Roses, and whoever, if there's anybody else along the way that I'm fortunate enough to make music with, it's going to be from the heart.
Yeah, it's
deep
not
from the heart.
It's not nostalgia. It's about moving forward and creating music and entertaining people at the time. All the links to his website, to buy the vinyl, to listen to the music, are in the description right now. Dizzy, I appreciate it so much. I look forward to seeing you out on the road this year. And thank you for taking this time to talk about your music. That means a lot to me. I will tell you that I've really enjoyed this music. And
just, can I add one last thing?
Of course.
There is a limited edition vinyl available, and you can get that at dizzyfnreed.com. That's DIZZYFNREED.com. Dizzy F and Reed. It's an orange translucent vinyl, and it's signed by me, and it comes with a poster and a sticker and maybe some other treats, and you can get that at dizzyfnreed.com. So please check it out. It sounds so good on vinyl, and and
it looks the way it was intended.
Yes.
All right, Dizzy, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and we will see you again.
All right, thank you.